Homestead. I hope you're all well. It is a Tuesday evening, and I have the evening off of work, so I figured I would go live, and hopefully I'll get some awesome people to show up and hang out. This is an open discussion, folks, so if there's anything you'd like to talk about, drop it in the comments, and as long as it's nothing bad, I will consider discussing it. All right. Just waiting for some people to show up. It's a beautiful day here in Missouri. It was pretty hot. It was around 100 degrees today, maybe 100 degrees, and it was sunny, and it's cooling down now. It's a really nice drop in temp, and I'll be heading outside to do some taking care of our livestock and maybe some gardening soon. What's up, Shawnee? What's up? 80 degrees there. Wow. Yeah, it was around 100 today. According to my wife's vehicle, it was showing 100 degrees. Not sure how accurate that is, but it was definitely hot. We've been really trying to stay on top of watering. Things just dry out so quickly. Even with mulch, they're just drying out. But gardening has, since Nicole has retired, gardening has really just gone to the next level. We've had some really great progress with our gardening. I spent hours pruning blight off the tomatoes, pulling volunteers, cutting suckers. Okay, cool. We did not do well with tomatoes this year. We just did not. We didn't really focus on it too much. We did plant quite a bit of seeds, but I'm not even sure what happened. Maybe we just didn't water them enough in the earlier stages. Things happen. Sometimes we put seedlings on a ledge and it gets real windy here in Missouri, and sometimes they just get blown away and get destroyed. I assume some of them we probably lost from just drying out. Yeah, I feel like I'm not even getting a good harvest. I need to rethink the tomatoes next year. Yeah, I would say overall we kind of failed with tomatoes, or did fail with tomatoes. We're harvesting a little bit here, a little bit there. I would say most or all of them are like Roma and / or San Marzano tomatoes that we've been harvesting. Maybe a few slicer varieties, maybe one or more of those, but really very little. I want short and quick varieties. We have like 60 days till possible frost. Oh wow, that seems like that's relatively soon. Yeah, I have grape-sized tomatoes. A variety that I highly recommend that was a great producer is the Sweetie cherry variety. We love that. Nicole, I think, has called it like the ketchup tomato, where it tastes like ketchup or whatever. It does. It actually kind of tastes like ketchup. Great flavor. Sweetie cherry variety. I highly recommend it. You don't have to do much as far as maintenance and taking care of them. They just produce. I would love to grow, and I think we have never grown successfully, I believe it might be Cherokee Red, or there's a purple variety I'm thinking of. What's the name of it? Maybe it's Cherokee Purple, perhaps? Purple tomato is the one I'm thinking of. Did you know there's a Heinz tomato variety for ketchup? I either did not know that or forgot that. That is pretty cool. I'm seeing 2 likes. Thank you to everybody who hit that like. It's kind, it's free, do it for me. All right, hit that like. It's easy. It takes just a moment, folks. Hit that like. I'm seeing 12 accounts playing this right now. Stop scrolling if you're scrolling. Stop the scrolling. Chill, hang out here. This is an open conversation. I would love for you folks to get to know me if you don't know me. My name is Colin, and I want to get to know you folks. So get involved in the comments. Let me know where you're from. Hopefully we get some people from different countries besides the United States. There's purple Cherokee. Great. The Cherokee Carbon is also the best and doesn't split as easy. Purple Cherokee, I think, is the one that I was thinking of. Thank you for that, Shawnee. Samantha Daher said hi. Welcome in, Samantha. Thank you for being here. Daniela Martinez wrote hi. Welcome in, Daniela. Hi from Australia. That is awesome. I love when we get people from different countries to join. Hi from Damascus. Welcome in from Damascus. I believe that's Syria. Is that Syria? Am I correct? Tamo Orabis or Arabis, perhaps. Welcome in, Tamo. Welcome in, welcome in. I'm seeing 17 accounts playing this. That's awesome. Hang out. Stop scrolling. You have the chance to be a part of an awesome live stream. Thank you, Shawnee, for writing welcome in, everybody. Yeah, Syria. Boom, I was correct. Geography knowledge for the win. Awesome. The name's Timor. Okay, thank you for letting me know. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. What's going on for you folks in the chat? What's up, chat? Say where you're from, introduce yourselves, and please hit that like. Let's go, let's grow. If you're a content creator, I'm seeing 27 accounts playing this right now. Stop scrolling if you're scrolling. Chill right here, hang out with me, Shawnee, and we got some other people in the chat. Let's go, let's grow. If you're a content creator, like I started saying before, I highly recommend it. And if you don't know me, I hope you're open-minded enough to consider taking advice from this stranger right here. If you're a content creator, I highly recommend staying in this live stream because my wife and I are connected to some very supportive content creators, the type of people who will connect to your channel, get your sub count up, and who actually give you watches, and sometimes full watches. People that hit the like, people that comment in your videos, and you have the opportunity to network and grow your channel right here, right now in this live. Let's go. Go ahead and ask some questions. Let's talk. Yes, absolutely. Ha ha ha. Timor wrote, you sound like you live somewhere in the East Coast. Well, you are partially correct, or actually incorrect. I live in Missouri with my wife and our 2 sons. However, born and raised in New York, so I do have an East Coast accent. Very good. Good job recognizing that. Very, very good. Very sharp of you. Very sharp. A lot of people say they don't even realize I have an accent, or I don't sound like I do. I think it depends on maybe my emotional state, if my accent comes out more. Certain words, I assume. No way, I was born and raised in New York as well. Wow. That's awesome. What part, if you don't mind me asking? Or parts, perhaps? Very, very cool. And now you're in Damascus, Syria. Very cool. Very cool. Thank you to everybody who hit the like. I'm seeing 4 likes. Thank you so much. And thank you to everybody who's been active in the chat. That is awesome of you. My wife and I are grinding hard to get watch hours, so we really appreciate all the help. Please check out our long form videos after this live stream if you're new to our channel. We would really appreciate the support. Again, watch hours is something we are really focused on and really grinding on, whatever the correct way to say that is. All right. 4 likes. My first goal for number of likes is 8. Let's get to 8, folks. Let's make 8 happen. So if you're here and you haven't hit the like, please do that. And feel free to share this live stream out. Hopefully we'll get some more people that way to join and get involved. That would be awesome and very kind of you to share this out, folks. Share it out on YouTube. Share it out on your social media like Facebook, wherever. Share it out. Share it out. Destiny Hullen wrote, hi. Welcome in, Destiny. Thank you for saying hi in the chat. Where are you from, Destiny? Let me check back and see. Samantha, if you're still here, Samantha is from Australia. Daniela Martinez, if you're still here, where are you from? Where is everybody from? And like Shawnee had mentioned earlier, ask some questions. This is an open discussion. Let me break it down for the newcomers here. Anytime my wife and I have an open discussion during our live streams, it's open. As long as it's nothing bad, I will consider discussing any topics that you want to discuss. And if you have any questions for me, I'm totally open for Q&A, question and answer time. As long as it's nothing bad, drop it in the comments, questions, topics. As long as it's nothing bad, I will consider talking about it. I might not talk about it, but I will consider. I'm from LA. All right, LA in the house. Los Angeles, California. Asher Grandchamp I'm sorry, sorry about that. Wrote, yo, welcome in, Asher Grandchamp. Welcome back, I think. I think you were in a previous live stream or live streams. My parents lived in the city, and so did I, but I started traveling once I turned 18 and moved out. Wow. Very interesting. So you've obviously experienced different cultures. That is really cool. I highly recommend to everyone to get to experience different cultures, and that includes different subcultures, like within a country, like the United States, for example. If you go to New York, in particular, highly populated New York, like the five boroughs of New York, also known as New York City, and Long Island, highly populated area as well. And you compare that subculture to like here in Missouri, where I live with my wife and our two sons, totally different. Might as well be different countries. They're dramatically different subcultures. Today's my brother's birthday. Oh, all right. Asher, are you the one who had your brother or brothers using your account in a live stream or live streams? 6 likes. Thank you. Only 2 likes away from that goal of 8. Let's go. Let's grow. Make it happen, please. And please stay active in the chat, everybody. I changed it. What'd you change? Your account? You got a new... What'd you do? Change your password or something? Anything anybody would like to discuss, drop it in the comments. We could discuss gardening, homesteading, raising livestock, emergency preparedness, aka also known as prepping. We could discuss life in general. I'm always eager and willing to share some wisdom that I've gained over the years. We could talk money. I'm open. You did yourself a favor moving to Missouri. Raising children in New York is just not worth it. I absolutely agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. My wife and I did have our first son in New York. Our second son was born here in Missouri. And our first son, he moved when he was like 2 years old or around 2 years old. So he has very little memory, I believe, of New York. Hi, can you introduce yourself? I can introduce myself if you're talking to me. My name is Colin. Hi. Zori, or how do I pronounce? I'm not sure how to pronounce your screen name there. Ways to cook a meal with a focus on using the land. Scratch cooking takes time. What are some cheat codes? That is a great topic. Great topic. All right, I'll throw some things out there, perhaps in no particular order. Well, I would say if you're looking for, you wrote about taking time. If you're looking for easy things, I would stick with saute, bake, and broil, or grilling. Frying takes a lot of time, takes a lot of fat, oil, whatever. Yeah, keep it simple. When scratch cooking, depending on what you're doing, if you want, to really have a wide variety of dishes available, you're going to need a cooking fat. I recommend animal-based fats like tallow, for example. Duck fat is great. Things like that. And saute. Saute is easy. Single dish options, like one pot, one pan options. Start with your fat, saute your produce, add your animal protein if you're going to add some animal protein and fat. Boom. One and done. One pot. You could throw it all in. Raw ingredients. Bake. Depending on the cooking time, if you're braising, which means cooking in a liquid, or if you're just baking, like roasting, you might want to hold off on adding the produce until Like if you're cooking for 3 hours, you might want to add that stuff for like the last 45 minutes to hour and a half, for example. But if you're doing like a 1.5 hour dish, if you're doing starchy things, an hour and a half or more, that should be enough time for it to cook through, like potatoes, tubers, things like that. If you're using greens, for example, or alliums, so things like onions or whatever, then that stuff is going to cook pretty quick. You could probably add that to something that's going to be done around an hour or so. All right. Asher wrote, well, not sure what you mean, Asher. Ever been outside the U.S.? Yes, I have. I have been to, in no particular order, the Dominican Republic twice, Turks and Caicos, Mexico, and the Philippines. I believe those are the countries I have been to. I tend to make the meat, I'm assuming Shawnee meant tend to make the meat, the broth on Sunday for the week. Having broth on hand for sauces during the week. A soup is always a win. Yes, soup is always a win. Soups and stews, easy. They're great. They're great for gardeners because you can put a variety of different things in it. And it's just really easy. And it's a great way to use things up, including especially things that might be in your fridge that are scrap miscellaneous leftovers and slash or things that are likely to go bad. Throw them in a pot, throw them in a stew or a soup. That's a win. I love what you wrote, Shawnee, about broth. My wife and I have saved a lot of money and created some super, super healthy bone broths over the years by saving all of our bones, or not all of them, rather. We've thrown things out on occasion. Many, maybe most of our bones, and just boiling them down with a little bit of cider vinegar, which is really important because it's good for flavor. And also adding vinegar will leach minerals out of the bones themselves. So you're actually getting minerals, which is really like a pro tip there. Always have a cooking liquid. We use cooking liquid for any time we need to deglaze a pan or like get the stuff off the bottom of the pan. I'm drawing a blank on the name of the culinary term. Fawn. Fawn, I believe it is. The fawn is like the leftover stuff after like pan searing meat, for example. Have your liquid ready to go. And you can your more gelatinous and your fat stuff will kind of go to the top and it will freeze hard. You could use that when you need more fat. If you want just more liquid to like deglaze a pan, for example, add to stews, add volume, whatever, soups, then the liquid part is great. I many times use both. Everyone should be making bone broth. Get like a large gallon Ziploc bag. Every time you, whether it's chicken, lamb, beef, whatever, put them in there. If there's leftover meat on the bones, even better. More flavor, more nutrition. And cartilage, tendons, all of it's great. It can break down if you start cooking for multiple hours, especially if you have the acid present. Salt, for sure, for flavor. And you've got a great base for soups, great base for stews, a great liquid to deglaze pans, so the fawn or whatever's at the bottom of the pan if you're sauteing. Anytime you make something too thick, you need to just add some volume to loosen it up a little bit, thin it out a little bit. That broth. And folks, if you can save a tremendous amount of money if you typically buy broth in the stores, okay? And what we do, because we try to waste like very little, is save the bones and all that. Boom, make our bone broth. What's left over from the bone broth, whatever little flesh, like meat or whatever, and the bones, whatever, we throw that to our chickens. The chickens pick it clean, okay? They're getting lots of nutrients. And they could more easily get the cartilage and tendons and all the ligaments and all of that. And then the leftover bones go into our compost pile and slash or we add it as part of the fill for raised beds and things like that. So multiple uses, getting as much as possible, okay, from that. Tray of food, yes. Having to produce inventory for the week. I have too much yellow summer squash. Ooh, maybe canning, perhaps, maybe? Or freezing. Freezing, I think, would be great. maybe blanch it, maybe don't blanch it, maybe you need to, or it's best to blanch it before freezing. Are you a chef or something? Is what the retracted message said. Thank you for asking. I mean, I never went to culinary school. However, most of the chefs and most of the best chefs I've known in my life were not people that went to culinary school. In my 26 years of working in the food industry, well over a decade of being the general manager, the general operations manager for multiple very successful fine dining restaurants in New York and some very successful restaurants, managing successful restaurants in Missouri, I've learned a lot. And I've worked in the kitchen as well. I've been in the back of house, as we call in the restaurant industry, so I've cooked. So I arguably could be called a chef. And my wife and I cook a lot at home. We save a lot of money and create delicious and nutritious meals for our family. So I have a lot, and we get down in the kitchen. We make it happen, and it's a lot of fun. Like my wife and I today, we're making for dinner. Now, hear me out before you might laugh. We're making sandwiches. We're making New York, like Queens Long Island inspired sandwiches. We have shaved grass-fed ribeye, grass-fed beef bacon. My wife picked up some maybe burrata mozzarella or some type of mozzarella, hopefully like fresh mozzarella. If not the burrata, I prefer the burrata. We're going to be making a pesto with our homegrown basil and some organic sprouted pumpkin seeds. My wife's going to make her, we call it maminaise, her, I think maybe, I don't know if it was our younger son or older son who first called it maminaise, but my wife makes house-made mayonnaise, which is super easy, delicious, and nutritious. And she did post a short. We did post a short of how to make the mayo on our channel. So after the live stream, please don't leave, folks. Go check out that short. It's really great, and it's sweet, short, to the point, real simple and straightforward. Great short if you want to learn how to make your own mayo, which is way healthier than the garbage in stores that they use soybean oil and garbage, and it's old, not fresh ingredients and preservatives and toxins. So this stuff is way healthier. Check that short out after the live stream, please. And we'll be adding some of our own sprouted sunflower microgreens, some radish greens from what we grew, some red onions, which we bought those. We didn't grow red onions this year, I don't think. Yeah, it's going to be amazing, like a gourmet sandwich. So I'm looking forward to that. Literally made chicken tortilla soup from the garden hall. Boom! Awesome. What was Philippines like? I've heard the beaches are amazing. That's a great question about the Philippines. I gotta say, folks, if you're in the United States and you're willing to take a long flight, or if you're close to the Philippines, even better. The Philippines is an absolutely amazing place. It is absolutely beautiful. Like, beautiful everywhere. It's amazing. And the people are so kind, generally speaking. The people are so kind. They are so hospitable. And we were talking about food earlier. The food there is amazing. And your money goes very, very far there. Your biggest expenses rather, will be your flight and your hotel or whatever. After that, eating, dining, doing stuff is super, super, super cheap. It's incredible. Philippines, highly recommend it, folks. Are you like a chef or something, bro? Maybe that person asked it again, or that was maybe a different person asked it earlier, or maybe they activated it or made their message appear again or something. Fond is correct. Okay, cool. What's your phone number? That's a crazy question. Let me totally not give out my phone number in a live stream. Ugh. So, Asher Grand Champ, I wonder if this is. Maybe I shouldn't even say you, because I don't even know. During the live streams, you and or your brother or brothers have been. I don't even know who I'm actually talking to. Never ask somebody for their phone number on social media unless it's somebody you know in a private message, a direct message or something like that. Don't do that. That's weird and possibly rude. I like my privacy. I get enough spam phone calls already. Um, yeah. Asher, I don't know if that's who I'm talking to. Feel free to ask questions. Not all will be answered. That's right. Not all will be answered. Or maybe not all will be answered. Maybe I'll answer them all. How about a stir fry? Stir fries are awesome. Love stir fries. Pretty much a saute, really. Get some fat in the pan, boom, 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 saute. Get your proteins going. Finish with your like soy sauce, whatever, teriyaki combination, whatever. Veggie scraps saved for broth. Oh, absolutely. Including like onions, for example, with the husk or whatever still on them. Absolutely. And you made me hungry, bro. Also, like perhaps parts of the like vegetable scraps that maybe don't look as good. Maybe you don't want to. If you have company, people over, you don't want to serve it to them, but they're totally fine to eat, but they don't look as pretty. Great for broths. Great for broths. Or maybe some parts that maybe you don't want to eat. They don't look as nice, but they're fine. Put them in the broth. Go ahead and share something you learned this week or something you are researching. What's your go-to pasta recipe? We tend to make, as far as pasta, we make all kinds of stuff, but we like just a straight up simple tomato with meat sauce. It's very popular. We actually had that on, well, my wife and our two sons had it on Sunday. It might have been Monday by the time I ate it, whatever time I got home. Yeah, pasta and meat sauce is something we make like maybe once a week or almost once a week. We love it. That's comfort food to me. I mean, pasta sauce like from scratch, that's a whole long recipe. But essentially, what I would do for like a pasta with meat sauce, like tomato and meat sauce, hopefully I don't skip anything here. Start with a small amount of olive oil, not a lot. If you do too much, your fat content is going to be off. The sauce might break or whatever. It might be too oily. Small amount of olive oil, low to medium heat. You're going to get first in a little bit of carrots. I'm not going to give you exact measurements here. A little bit of carrots, okay, like minced if you can, or small chunks or whatever. That adds a richness and a flavor that that's one of my secrets for tomato sauce. A little bit of carrots first. Takes longer to cook them than onions. Get your carrots in there. Then onions, not necessarily minced, but small pieces of onions. Okay, you're stirring, you're stirring, you're stirring, you're scraping the bottom, scraping the bottom. A little bit of salt to sweat out the excess moisture and also start to add flavor. I recommend adding salt at different points in the cooking process for most or all things in general. Yeah, then from there, I would hit the pan, or the pot rather, with tomato paste. And you kind of want to brown the tomato paste, okay? Spread it out, get as much surface area as you can cooking. Brown your tomato paste, okay? And once that's cooked nicely and you're kind of bringing out like the sweetness of the tomato paste, then you're gonna want to hit a little bit of red wine, good quality red wine. Let that cook out. Let the alcohol disappear. Okay, it takes time, a lot more time than people think. By the way, I'm not going to get into all that, but I would say like at least 10 minutes of a good like maybe a medium heat at that point. Let that wine and everything cook down. Then you can go with diced tomatoes or just like chunks of tomatoes, whole tomatoes. You can go with a puree, which is great, or a combination of those things. Okay, you're gonna be cooking this for a long time, so it will break down. My wife and I made it just from just slicer tomatoes, made an amazing, delicious sauce just from the whole tomatoes that we cut up. Oh no, connecting. Hopefully I didn't lose much, or hopefully I didn't lose anything rather. Yeah, so you got your red wine cooked out. Then yeah, your after your tomato paste, then your red wine, then you're gonna hit your tomato items. Okay, diced tomatoes and slash or tomato puree, and slash or whole tomatoes. Okay, cook, 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 cook. Salt again. Okay, then essentially it's just a matter of time and finishing seasonings. And there's other things you can do. You can also like back and like when you're cooking your carrots and onions, you could also put like a pork and neck bone in there if you want to add a little bit of meat flavor like that or whatever. Separately, if you're doing meat, I forgot about the meat sauce. Ground meat, cooked down like an 80-20 meat, not something too lean. You can go 90-10, that's fine. Cook that down till it's cooked well, okay? Add that to your tomato sauce mix. You got the tomatoes in there and all that. Add that. Then you're gonna cook on slow for at least 2 to 3 hours. Low so that the sauce is like burping, little bubbles, okay? Then closer to the end, I would say about 30 minutes towards the end, you're gonna hit it with your finishing salt, white sugar, okay? That balances the acidity. It's a very, very important detail. The acidity, you gotta have your Italian herbs. Oregano is needed. Oregano for sure. You can add a little rosemary, not much. Definitely an abundant amount of oregano. Oh, I forgot in the beginning with your onions, fresh garlic. Onions, carrots, and fresh garlic. I forgot that earlier. So fast forward again. Your seasonings. Yeah, a little bit of rosemary, an abundance of oregano, an abundance of fresh basil. The fresh is best for these folks, okay? You don't want to cut the corners with that type of stuff. A little marjoram is nice. Let me think if I'm missing anything. Yeah, if you've got your oregano and your basil, you're winning. A little bit of rosemary. Too much rosemary makes it too piney, and that's not good for tomato sauce. And then I do recommend a little pinch of red pepper flakes. That warms it up. You don't want it to be spicy, but you want it to be warm and just barely present, okay? And then a high quality Parmesan or Pecorino Romano cheese, finely grated in the sauce itself. Finish a good amount, a generous amount of black pepper, freshly ground is ideal. Let it cook for the last 30 minutes or so that you infuse all those herbs and everything, and you're good to go. Yeah, and that is you add, just in case I didn't mention before, and if I did, I'll mention it again, you add your beef after you have your tomato base and all of that already ready. And you do want to strain off the excess oil because it will get too oily. Now, we almost never, maybe never, unless we just happen to cook the meat different, do strain off the excess oil because we don't mind the fat. It's healthy, it's delicious, it's nutritious. But if you're looking for like an award-winning sauce, you do want to strain off the excess fat because you will get that separation. The sauce will break and it'll be too oily. We love it with the fat in there. And you don't want to get rid of all the fat. And please, 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 when you're cooking the pasta water, bring it to a rolling boil. Add some high-quality salt like Redmond salt and slash or Celtic sea salt. Good amount of salt, and cook it till al dente. Right before you think it's done, it's almost like a carryover cooking, okay? Right before you think it's done. What's up, Carolina Kind Family Homestead? Welcome in. Sorry I didn't greet you earlier. I'm in the middle of a little bit of a recipe here. Then you want to, what was I saying? Oh, your pasta, yeah, al dente. Do not make mushy pasta, it can ruin the whole dish. You want a little bit of a bite to it. Al dente means to the tooth in Italian, so you want to have a little bit of a bite. And right before it's at that point where it's still got a little bite, but it's just soft enough to eat and it's enjoyable, you want to start to strain your water. Because if you get it to the point that it's al dente, and you leave it a little bit, then you take it and slowly drain it, you're going to go too far and it will be too soft. Okay, so you want to pull that right before it's al dente, right before it's got enough bite to get through, where it's a little bit of a challenge. We actually have some texture in your mouth. You could taste the pasta. And a lot of people focus so much on the sauce, but that detail, that's your thing. That's your host for the sauce, right? So don't neglect the pasta itself. Mushy pasta is no-go, all right? All right, let me go back in the chat. Open a pizza and ice cream shop for families, children's birthday party spot. Maybe. I think I might want to get into the restaurant. And my wife and I did were part owners of a restaurant for a short period of time. We might want to do that again. Tough business, a lot of setup, and unfortunately, like most or all businesses in America, there are so many. They make it ridiculous to get a business started. It's like they don't want businesses to start. They make it so many regulations and red tape and fees and filings and administrative work. It's brain damage. It's so much, so that it's disheartening, and people don't want to open businesses, and therefore, not as many jobs created as there could be. My wife and I have had the idea for years and years of having a food truck, and that might be what we might lean towards. I already have an idea for a food truck. I'm not going to give those ideas now. Maybe I'll share some of them in the future. But yeah, fun stuff. I love cooking. Cheers, brother. I'm going to go there. Where's that? To the Philippines? Go. It's awesome if that's what you're talking about. Make a long form video of making mayo and maybe some other condiments for watch hours. That's an awesome idea, Shawnee. I love that. I love that idea. Thank you so much. I will mention that to Nicole shortly. I'm going to finish this live stream up soon, folks. Got to start making that amazing world-class sandwich. Maybe I'll post a short of that. And it is related to our main content or types of content because we will be using some of our homegrown ingredients in that dinner tonight. Our gourmet next level New York style sandwich. Yeah, it's going to be good. But yeah, we did post a short of the mayonnaise recipe, but I think a long form video might be great. Perhaps get into another more details if there are any. Also just good to get the long form videos out there for watch hours. So that's great. I love that idea. Verna, what's up, Verna? All right, bro, I'm going to head out and grab a bite. Really enjoyed this stream. May God be with you and may the God Almighty bless your children. Hey, thank you so much for being here. You were awesome. And if you're not subscribed to my wife's channel, please subscribe. Timur, if that's how I should pronounce your name. You were really cool, and I would love to see you around again. You were really cool here. It's also really cool to meet someone from New York as well, who is now all the way on the other side of the world in Damascus, Syria. All right. Or email someone and ask. Oh, maybe that was about the phone number thing. Maybe Verna was talking about that. What's your values here in the channel? What's your target audience for this channel? Target audience for the channel, if I were to throw a number out there. Here's the thing, as far as our viewers, we're all over the place. We're like really kind of evenly spread out for different age groups, which is, I like that. I think it's pretty cool. I would say our target audience is 30 to 45-year-old people looking to be more self-sufficient, who want to raise livestock and or garden and or homestead in general. People who want to live more all natural, low toxin, healthy lifestyles. People that are into wellness. And people who think of things holistically and realize that living a healthy life is a multifaceted approach. It's not just diet, right? It's producing your own food, right? It's what to do with the food when you do it, when you grow it. How to stay active so you can produce your food. Producing your food can help you be active. And all the synergistic, interconnected things that are holistic living, right? Values. We are Christian first and foremost. We don't always discuss the good Lord in every video, but all of our content will be filtered through the objective morality of the Bible. And we are freedom-loving people. We love freedom. We love freedom of speech. Okay? Yeah. We believe in freedom. Freedom. Well, my brother got on my phone. Oh, okay. Locked me do. Yeah, we've heard that before. I'm spamming. Shawnee Grows watching you. I've heard something about his brother getting his phone or something. Maybe it's actually his brother's never gotten his phone, or his brother never gotten his phone. Maybe it's just him. Whoever him is. Yesterday I sauteed garlic, green onions, and shrimp in butter and avocado oil. Put it over rice. Nice. One of my specialties is shrimp scampi. Shrimp scampi, which we might not be eating shrimp anymore. That's a whole different thing. But shrimp scampi was one of my specialties. Bayside Gladiators, Papa Gossip is in Diaries, disclaim Ariel soap. Asher wrote, I thought you were going to say carbonara. Oh, I love a good carbonara. Not my, that's not the one I make the most frequently. I actually rarely make that. But now that you said it, you got me thinking. Little prosciutto, right? You can substitute bacon, a little prosciutto, or even though we're not really eating pork right now, that's a whole different thing. What's the other one? Prosciutto or capicola, maybe? I'm drawing a blank on the other ham. Pancetta or prosciutto. Pancetta or not capicola, I think. Pancetta or prosciutto. Those are key for carbonara. I try to make pasta from scratch in my new house. Awesome. We have a manual grain mill. So one of the things that we will be doing is making our own pasta. And we deserve it. We would appreciate that. Like, we cook, we're gonna make a great sauces, different times. Maybe we'll make more than one sauce at a time. Who knows? We deserve some great pasta. We would really appreciate it. Carrots, yes, and the sauce. I'm happy you agree with that. I just need the counter space. Appreciate the support here for Triple H channel. Thank you for writing that, Shawnee. Can you change me how to cook? Watch our videos about cooking. There's at least one video that came to mind, which is how to cook a tomahawk steak, I think. That's really a good video if you want to learn how to cook a larger piece of meat on the grill. There's some great tips in that one. I'm a big fan of roasting the tomatoes, onions, garlic before blending into a sauce. So that's cool. That's cool too. Get some nice caramelization. How can you teach me how to go? I don't know what you mean. How to cook. Well, you could pay me to be your consultant and your cooking coach. You could do that. That's an option for you. Okay? You could do that. The email is hhomestead3@gmail.com. Also, you could watch the video that I mentioned before and start there and watch any of our cooking videos. It's hard to see the phone. Let me tilt it this way a little bit. Thank you to whoever got rid of those messages or hid them from that person. What would you like to learn? He's explaining a tomato sauce. Hello, chicken Alfredo. Chicken Alfredo is a great dish. Sauce is tricky. Yes. Butter and flour equal parts in a saucepan. Heat for 1 minute. Add milk slowly. Whisk in. Yep. Parm cheese, or you could also use like I recommend a cheese blend, like a Parmesan cheese and a Pecorino Romano. Parmesan's a little more nutty. Pecorino Romano is a little more rich. You can also add some mozzarella. It's just a matter of preference, but definitely I recommend some Parmesan cheese for that. Italians would argue about the sugar in the tomato sauce. I don't know about that. Because I've known plenty of Italians being from New York, many of them born and raised in Italy, and most of them add sugar to the sauce. It's just basic food science, really, with the acidity of the tomatoes and all that. It just balances it out. And also, sugar, just like salt, amplifies and concentrates flavor. So I think it's needed for a great sauce. But hey, to each their own. People have different opinions. But I'm of partial Italian descent myself, and I've worked for Sicilians, fine dining restaurants, and known plenty of people born in Italy, and plenty of people of first generations, and most of all of them add sugar to their sauces. Maybe we just talk to different Italians. Yummy. Salt the pasta water is a must. Absolutely. Pasta water, use it in the sauce too. Yep, you can do that for sure. I do that. Especially if the sauce gets like a little too thick, it cooks out, too much liquid, too much water cooks out. Add a little bit of that. It also just kind of thickens it and kind of acts as like a binder of sorts. Hi, I'll be back in a minute. Can add tomatoes and peas to the Alfredo. Oh yeah, for sure. Peas, I think. The tomatoes, you should at least sweat them out or cook out the excess liquid before you do that. Otherwise, it could ruin the sauce. But if you take just the skin and the flesh of the tomato without the inside, that's a great way to do it. Or sweat the tomatoes or like cook out the liquid. Then you could add them to the sauce. I wouldn't recommend adding all that liquid from the tomatoes to an Alfredo. Please don't spam, introduce yourself. Yeah, there's a huge issue with older people wanting out of their businesses and selling them at too high of a price with poor business plan. Poor setup, need new, fresh restarts. Economy is almost ready. Well, speaking of older people selling things, there is, I think, already starting a massive wealth transfer. I've heard it will be the largest wealth transfer in history, but who knows? Who knows after 2008 and 2020, all that stuff that happened. But a lot of people retiring and wanting to downsize, and a lot of people passing away. Land is going to be changing hands. And sadly, a lot of the land is going to a malevolent corporation, which is like an umbrella corporation. Schmack Schmock. You can figure that out. That's not the name, but it's similar. It's a corporation that has many corporations under it that it's acting under, grabbing land all over the place, buying cash, just outbidding any typical working class person, and that land is and will be used for absolutely diabolical reasons. Maybe we'll talk about that sometime, Shawnee. All humans deserve to be free. Yep, we're born free. It's just the dumb earnments that enslave us. Good evening, everyone listening while eating. What's up, Janet? Happy you made it in. Food trucks became a thing after the, yep, ringing the bell. I don't even understand who my target audience is, Triple H. Target audience is a good thing for focus. Listen to me, Shawnee. I'm going to give you just general business stuff that I've learned, both from college and from being an actual businessman and managing and owning multiple businesses in my life. Take this advice or leave it. Target audience, okay, which is related to your market, is only good as a tool for focus. However, there are many goods, services, okay, that the market is so broad that you should not narrow your focus too much. For example, gardening. There's lots of people, typically 20 years and older, I would say. Not as many teenagers, okay? But hopefully that's changing. 20 to 80 years old, people into gardening. So when people niche down too much with certain things, I think it's not good. I think in that regard, they should think as broad and as empirical as possible to attract the largest audience possible. Like if we broke down our things, when I've looked at it, it's like 15% teenagers, 15% this, 15% 30s, 15% 40s, or whatever. It's pretty spread out, or more like 20+%. Ours is typically concentrated in, I think, like 30 to 50 or whatever, something like that. But you don't have to have a target audience for all types of content and all types of goods and services. Because narrowing your focus and targeting your audience at that point, you could at least make certain groups feel ostracized. I think for gardening, you should make it as welcoming to everybody as possible. Unless you have a very specific niche, like gardening after 60, and you're going to talk about like ways to get around the garden in like a walker, or like things to kneel on, and like certain tools to make gardening easy and stuff like that, then it makes sense. Yeah. Like certain sports, maybe you're going to focus on teenagers up until people in their 40s or whatever. But for certain topics, think broad. It doesn't have to be so niche down. And like with gardening channels, most of the gardening channels, as far as age groups, not very niche. They might niche to certain groups as far as like what are called yuppie, and perhaps that's a pejorative term, and if it is, I don't want to mean it that way. Might be focused on people with discretionary income to do like bougie gardening and stuff like that. Yeah. As the no spend challenge, I'm eating ice cream, vanilla bean. Nice. Hey, do you think I could survive in a colorless diet, like only pale foods? I'm not sure what kind of diet that is. That sounds like a horrible diet, and I wouldn't see the point of it. The body does best with diversity. Yes, pale food diet is helpful when healing. You meaning just like potatoes and starches and things, simple things? Those things are good for when you've had like a digestive break, like after a fast, for example, after you're sick, after when you start healing, to just get some, to ease your digestive system back into full function, then those things are good. Otherwise, I would not recommend that. When it comes to produce, different colors are signs of different nutrients and different antioxidants, and the whole eat the rainbow thing or eat different colored foods, it's very true. Shawnee, I have not yet agreed to the new garage door yet. Oh, my wife and I need a new garage door, or maybe doors. Might have to buy two to make them match. Very expensive, insane. Like from a stomach bug, yeah. Oh yeah, I like eating foods for sickness, even when not sick. It feels like it heals my mind too. Well, welcome in, Caprice Bug. If I didn't welcome you in earlier, I don't think I did. Okay, Janet, yes, wealth transfer, yep. Oh, the hands on the land make me mad. Not sure what you mean by that. Oh, maybe Shawnee means the hands of the group or groups that I was talking about earlier. Getting the land, yeah. We can chat about marketing sometime. Yes, we should. I would love to. I would love to. My major in college was initially accounting, then I switched to business management. So I've taken a good amount of classes in that, but more important than that, I learned way more in the real world. From running businesses, managing businesses, all kinds of businesses. I've done all kinds of stuff, from operating and running a fight show business, which is like an event type of business, to restaurants of all different kinds, martial arts business, health and wellness business, personal training business. I mean, you name it. I've done a lot of different things. I'm not saying that to be cocky. It's just I've done a lot of different things. So I was blessed to have learned a lot of different things. I just want people to grow food. That's right. I want people to grow food too. I want to teach people why growing food long-term matters. Yep. Teach people why growing. Oh, it does. My stats show 30s and 60s for my audience. Yeah, see, it could be kind of all over the place, right? It's like a mental health thing, I think. Who here saw Triple H Ninja Chop Short? That was fun. Like rice porridge, bread without the crust, skinned apples, miso soup. Yeah, those sound like relatively simple things to digest. I recommend maybe you should try, instead of just going with the pale foods and like the aforementioned foods that you wrote, consider on occasion cutting out like a type or types of foods for a period of time. Like, for example, cut out carbs for a period of time, like at least a day, 3 days, 7 days, whatever, pick your time, right? See how that makes your body feel. I would say rarely, rarely, rarely cut out all animal proteins and fats. And if you do for a short period of time, I would say like up to a week max. Or if you're going to really, really do it well and match amino acid profiles and take supplements and really be conscientious, then I would say up to like 40 days without animal proteins and fats, max, max. I've got reasons for that, or reasons for that. And otherwise, take certain things out, okay? The body, when healthy, is quite adept at processing and digesting food. If you're having problems with digestion, then you have either got an underlying serious issue and slash or you're actually deficient in a nutrient or nutrients, like calcium, for example. Peristalsis is the muscle contraction that your intestines do to move food through your digestive system. Calcium ions are needed for muscles to contract in the body. That includes the heart, like your involuntary contractions, like your heart, peristalsis of your intestines, things like that. And if you don't have enough calcium, okay, in its bioavailable form or forms, then you could have issues with your digestion, for example. Take a break from dairy on occasion to give certain systems or certain parts of systems, rather, of your body a little bit of break. As far as taking a break, I think intermittent fasting and fasting in general is ideal for giving your body a break. At the very least, now eating right before you go to bed is not always bad. It could actually boost serotonin levels, help you sleep better. Certain types of protein like casein protein, slow digesting protein, they're actually great if you worked out that day. There's details and context matters. But at least on occasion, try not to eat like 3 hours before you go to sleep. That could help get your body into a healing mode and a resting mode. And it's good to give your digestive system a break. Breaks don't have to be long-term 7-day fasts or whatever. Breaks could be, hey, I'm not eating 3 hours before I go to sleep. A break could be intermittent fasting, eating once or twice a day. 1-day fast, things like that are helpful from time to time. And I am not a doctor. I'm just a person who's binge studied this stuff for decades and who worked in health and wellness and fitness industries my entire life, or most of my life. But I'm not a doctor, so don't listen to anything I say. This is for entertainment purposes only. I know nothing. There's my disclaimer. Janet, Shawnee, I saw that video. I started going to college for business management, then accounting, hated it, then went to social work psychology, then went to early childhood education, didn't like any of that either. There was this generation that said, I don't want to work as hard as my parents. They go into tech world. Now you might see some hard workers coming up, go-getters, entrepreneur. Well, I guess maybe I could eat like raw fish. Raw meats also feel really pure. I get what you mean by feeling really pure. Raw liver with maple syrup is, I've heard, is good. I don't know. Interesting. I've never had raw liver. I love sushi. I eat sushi all the time. I used to eat sushi like almost daily for 5+ years when I was general manager of a phenomenal restaurant that serves sushi. I will say something, not from fear, but like a lot of people are like, oh, you get parasites from sushi. And I think for a long time I was like, it's not a thing. You'll be fine, whatever. You absolutely can get parasites from sushi. It's the cold chain, how it's stored and things like that for certain things. Must really be spot on. And parasites are in many, maybe most or all sushi, at least in some amount. So if you're eating sushi, keep in mind parasite cleanses are important. And even if you're not eating sushi, parasite cleanses are important. Again, I'm not a doctor. Isn't it funny that religious people, including traditional Christians, are frequently fasting but for God, and it has a natural health benefit too, like most things God instructs? Well, interesting in a sense that it's true and it makes sense. And God's objective truth is exactly what we should do. And God is perfect. And yeah, it is interesting how it always ends up correct. I took a break from meat for a week and it was hard and ended in a mess. Dairy I need to stay low on. If I really want to try liver, I haven't tried it before. Hi, baby.
Hi, Daddy. I got a treat for Mommy. You got a treat and I got a treat.
Okay, baby. I don't want the door open because the mosquitoes might get in. So go inside. Thanks for letting me know.
You're welcome.
I love you, Liam.
Love you, Daddy.
Hi, Dean.
Hi, Daddy.
I love you.
Love you.
All right, I'm going to finish this live stream up. Fasting is fascinating. Welcome to the conversation. Yeah, like autophagy and all the things about fasting are amazing. Smart ways to fast and dumb ways to fast too. Last time I did a fast, I did it a dumb way. I like cut caffeine out and I like fasted like while cutting caffeine out. It was too much at once. It was horrible. I did pretty good, but next time, one thing at a time. Or just the food fast. Thinking of dairy, I ran out of ice cream. I'll be heading to the store tonight. Vanilla bean is my new addiction. A good vanilla bean ice cream is hard to find, but I love a good vanilla bean ice cream. Caprice bug. I do like a lot of weird things for mental health. I do a lot of... Skylar Penner wrote, amen, brother. Boom! And Skylar, I think you've been in our live stream or live streams before. If so, welcome back. And if not, welcome in. Part of my memory. Peace. Bye. Oh, yeah. I'm going to get going. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for all the likes, all the comments, all that awesome stuff. Okay? Thank you. You're awesome. And on that note, as always, first and foremost, and most importantly, God is great. Yeah, a long time ago. Good memory. Awesome. God bless. God bless you. Take care, everybody.